The Yamalube RS4GP is the top of the line engine oil offered by Yamaha, and this is the first time I am using a made in Japan engine oil that has been manufactured and packed from Japan. I was really curious to know how will this Japanese spec engine oil perform in a German machine that was developed and manufactured in India. So after almost 2000 kilometers of riding in pretty heavy situations, I'm coming up with this report of using the RS4GP in my BMW G310R. The RS4GP comes in 10W40 grade, and this is the first time I'm using a 10W40 grade oil in my G310, as earlier I was using the Superbike engine oil from Castrol, which performed really well as it proved itself in the lab test reports as well. So do check that video from the link in the description. Coming back to the Yamalube RS4GP, I paid 2600 rupees for 2 bottles of 1 liter each. I had to mention the price as it is one of the costliest engine oil I have ever purchased, so naturally the expectations also go high with it. But as always, there is always a but to the equation of expectations, where I was expecting the 10W40 grade to perform better, which it actually did, but in my case with the G310, the cold engine experience could have been better, especially during the morning start where the gearbox and shift experience was not up to the mark till the temperature reached around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. Once the oil and the engine reach to their optimum temperature, they perform like a dream. The gear shift experience is so good and so does the engine response. In my case on highways, the engine temperature remained in between 82 to 84 degrees Celsius no matter how hard I was pushing that engine. Yamaha says that they have developed this engine oil with the help of their Moto GP team, where in my experience I can say that the RS4GP is definitely formulated to sustain under high RPM and high temperature use. Yamaha also mentions that its formulation in RS4GP helps in cutting down the horsepower losses due to viscous resistance and friction. This brings me to the kinematic viscosity at 100 degrees Celsius, which stands at 14.06 mm² per second, which makes it a low viscosity oil. I remember the Motul 300V 10W40 is one of the few oils that even pulls it down to 13.1 mm² per second. I'm not sure how the 300V will perform on the G310, but its performance was impressive on my RTR 204V. I have said this before that the G310 kind of runs hot inside the city traffic, where the RS4GP did not make much difference to cool it down. However, the gear shift experience was really good even at radiator fan kicking temperatures. I also did a 600 km long ride with this engine oil, where I took my first stop after 300 km for a fuel refill, where the oil showed no sign of resistance or fatigue as I was doing triple digit speeds for most of the time. The fuel efficiency also stood at a decent 33 km per liter for that kind of riding. In mixed riding conditions, which also include city traffic, I got around 29 km per liter, which is acceptable for me. Even after all of this riding, the oil level is still intact with no sign of oil drop or top up requirement, and as it can be seen, the oil is still trying to maintain its cough syrup color without much burnout effect. I do have a little concern on the TBN value of 5.93, which is kind of okay for a race spec engine oil, but only a lab test will show how well and for how long will it hold under real world riding conditions like ours. Yamaha has used the YZR-M1 factory race bike to test and develop the RS4GP, and they recommend it for machines with JSO MA2 requirements. The API standards are not mentioned on the pack, but after some research I found that till 2021 it was meeting with the API SL standards, which is fine for my G310, which is recommended to run on a lower API SJ engine oil. With most of the current Yamaha portfolio running on 10W40 grade engine oils, I think the RS4GP will work like a charm on high revving motorcycles like the R15, MT, R3 and of course the high capacity high revving engines from Yamaha. I am still confused whether I should spend on lab testing this engine oil, so let me know in the comments if you are interested in the same. So that's it for this video and I hope you guys have liked it.